Welcome to the mediation session, and I'm so glad to have you both here, and I thank you for participating. My name is Bonita Martin. I go by Bonnie, and you can call me Bonnie. I am a neutral party for this mediation. And how would each of you like to be addressed?
You may call me Heather.
Heather.
You can call me Jessica.
Jessica. Heather and Jessica, thank you for coming, and I want to commend you for making the decision to come here today and to try to resolve any issues that you have. This is a great first step in resolving the conflict, and I want to explain a little bit about it before we get into it any further. First of all, are we all okay with the time that we had discussed for each of you being here today? Do you have an adequate amount of time to be here?
I was a few minutes late, so maybe next time if we need to be again, we can push the time back maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
Awesome. It was no problem. I was running a little late myself. And Ms. Bonda, Heather?
I'm good.
Okay, good. It is important that you know that mediation is a voluntary process where two parties have the opportunity to discuss their differences with a neutral third party, which would be myself, and I will facilitate the conversation. I will not judge what is said here today, and I will also not make any decisions for you or give you a solution to your problems. There are a couple of ground rules, though, that we need to go through. Are we ready?
Yes.
Okay. We will maintain a courteous and respectful atmosphere throughout this mediation process. Each of you will be given a chance to speak so that there will be no interrupting. And instead, you can take notes while the other party is speaking so that when it is your turn to discuss your position, you will know what you want to say. There will be no name calling or interjections throughout this process. If this commences, we will decide whether to take a break and or end the session at that time. I would also like to explain to you that everything in this room will be kept confidential. It is just between the three of us in this room. Unless we feel there is a reason to be concerned with your safety or each other's safety. Occasionally it is necessary to call a caucus. A caucus is simply where I would ask one of you to leave the room so I can discuss the situation with one party alone, and then I will ask that person to go out and then discuss it with the other person. That happens just so that we have a clear point of view, and you know exactly what each of your intentions are. Here is the agreement that we talked about, the agreement to mediate. We will review this together, any questions that you might have about it at the end, but please sign this agreement and we'll get started. And Jessica, if you can sign there. And awesome. There's your third party mediator. Okay. So, which of you would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. But before we begin, does anybody have any questions about the mediator process or any concerns of the way the meeting's going to go, or you feel comfortable as to what we're going to try to complete here today?
So how it's going to work is I'm going to voice my concerns and issues, and she's going to be quiet.
Yes.
And then I'll be quiet if she voices her concerns and issues.
Exactly.
Okay, I'll just clarify.
Yeah.
Okay, so we agreed that Jessica will begin. Go ahead, Jessica, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I live in a house and it has 2 extra bedrooms, and I choose to rent the rooms out for extra money because the job that I have doesn't pay a lot. So I chose to rent the room out to Heather. And the agreement that we had on file was that she would agree to keep her room picked up. She would clean her dishes from the kitchen. And then if she had guests over, she would keep the noise down because I would wake up really early to go to work. And during the week, she would need to be home between 9 and 10 o'clock because of my schedule. And it was a signed agreement. I can't find the copy right now. I think it got lost in all the filing. But, and she does okay for a while. And then she kind of slacks off. Or her and her boyfriend are fighting. Or she comes in late from work and doesn't clean up her mess. So it's always one of those factors. It keeps me from getting sleep. And also, I'm a kind of a clean freak when it comes to the kitchen. So when I go in to cook, I just have to start. I don't want to have to be responsible for her mess. Because that's why she pays rent, is to live here and to be able to use the kitchen. And that's my issues, is that she doesn't clean up her messes and she comes home late. And I've set a curfew, and at the beginning of our agreement, she agreed to be home between 9 and 10 o'clock in the evening, and she's not. So this house has no carpet. So when you open the door to come in, I hear it. I'm a very light sleeper, and it disrupts my whole sleep. So I just want her agreement to be fulfilled, meaning that she cleans up her dishes in the kitchen when she cooks, and she's home between 9 and 10 o'clock at night. And that's basically it.
Okay. Miss Heather, are you ready to share your side of the story?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Okay. The reason why I come home so late is because I just recently got a second job, and my job goes past 10 p.m. That was in the agreement. So that is the reason why I come home so late. And whenever I come home late, of course I'm going to be tired and I'm going to be hungry. So that is why I go into the kitchen and make my food before I go to sleep. And whenever I do go to sleep at night, sometimes my first job, I don't have to wake up so early to go to my first job. So while I'm asleep, there's at times too when Jessica has to get up early to go to work, and she's also sometimes making a little bit of noise where I can hear as well. So, and I just get really frustrated because I need my sleep because I work these two jobs. And I'm also trying to be able to go to night school, which I know that would probably be a problem because if I work two jobs, I don't know how that would balance out. And I feel like I'm just being treated more like Jessica's daughter rather compared to than me and her being along as roommates. And that is only basically where my problem is at, is that I feel we should be more as roommates rather than like a mother-daughter relationship.
Okay. So let me just kind of recap here. You had an agreement that was signed, but we don't have a copy of that here. You had agreed to a curfew of 9 to 10 p.m. However, since then, Heather has had to take a second job. Were you made aware of that second job?
No, I was not made aware that she did get a second job.
Okay, so, and she's getting in past 10 p.m. It sounds like you like things neat and organized. And Heather, do you like things neat and organized?
I do, but at times I can be a bit, lazy because of course,
Working
because
two
of my
jobs?
two jobs.
Okay. So it seems like we have a little bit of conflict that can somehow be easily resolved. What do you two hope to happen here today? Would you like to resolve and still continue to be roommates? Do you think that you can work it out?
I think we can work it out.
Yes, I think we can.
I think maybe, I think maybe one of the issues is that if you know your week schedule and you know what you like to eat, maybe you can make your food up before your week gets started. So when you come home, you can just put it on a paper plate and heat it up and eat it. And that way you don't have to worry about very little cleanup. That would be a suggestion for me. And the pots and pans have to be left in the sink. Maybe we can put soap and water in them so they're not sitting there for 2 or 3 days not getting cleaned. Would that be okay? Excuse me.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Let me ask you that same question, Heather. What would you like to see happen here today?
I would just like to see, that we would work things out, and I would be, treated more like an adult rather than a child.
Yeah, instead of a family member,
Yes.
she'd like to be treated as a tenant. Do either of you have anything else to add?
No, not at all.
Okay, so let's take a look at some of the issues that we have here. The areas of the agreement that you had were for her coming in at 9 to 10 p.m. But since she has a new part-time job that she won't get in until past 10 p.m., are you able to work with that? Okay.
Not that I know I can work
Okay,
with that.
Heather.
So when I hear the door open, I know
No,
it's her.
yes.
And not someone trying to break in my house.
Okay. And then, you didn't explain to her why you had to take that second job?
No, I did not.
Maybe you want to go into that a little bit, your hardships that you had. Some of the medical costs that you had mentioned to me?
Oh, yes. The reason why I took the second job was because I had the medicals with my mother, and I have to help her pay the medical bills since she doesn't work and doesn't have insurance, so I'm trying to help her out right now, and the only way that I was able to do it was to unfortunately get this second job to help her.
Okay, so that sheds a little bit more light on the situation.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And I can have compassion for that because you're doing it for your mom. And just not, messing around.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yes. Special. And then as far as the hungry issue and what Jessica had mentioned, as far as doing some meal planning ahead, is that something that you'd be interested in?
I can, or another option I could be is I could just get takeout. Like get my food before I come home, like go to McDonald's or Sonic or somewhere and get it and then eat it here.
Okay.
Instead of, making noise.
And it would be easier
at
on you
night.
too because then you wouldn't have to worry about cleaning.
Yes.
Yeah, especially
You could
when
just eat it and throw it
And
away.
throw it away
And then you
done.
put on your night.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, and I know you're attending night school too, so I mean on your
Well, I want to try to.
Oh, you want to try?
Yes, I want
attend.
to try.
Okay,
Yes.
my
But
misunderstanding.
with the now that I had to get the second
Second
job,
job.
it kind of interfered
Okay.
with that.
Okay. So you're not going to be committing to any other change in your schedule
No,
anytime soon?
no, not that I know.
And then anything in your agreement that said anything about a schedule change, did she have to share that with you?
No, she didn't have
Okay.
to share that with me.
So awesome.
It would
So,
just be customary. Because usually when people live together, they're like, oh, by the way, this is going to be my new schedule from now on. And I wanted to offer up something for you. Since you are having some, pardon me, since you are having some financial issues, that if you wanted to help me around the house, like with the yard or any stuff that needs to be done around the house, I could take off some of your rent and we could barter some chores for some rent pay.
Okay.
Because I know I can use some help around the house occasionally, like with the yard or spring cleaning and stuff. So if you're willing to do that, I could dock off some of your rent, maybe $50, $75.
well, Heather, how does that sound to
Yeah,
you?
that sounds good.
Yeah, when
So
we're
that you
looking.
can help your mom
Yes.
out.
I appreciate
use
that
that-
suggestion.
And use that money. to
The
help your
extra
mom
money
out.
to help my mom.
Yes, because I was just going to ask you whether there are some ways that we could address some of these issues, and I welcome your suggestions. They sound good.
Like I know you don't work every day,
Yeah.
so I work Monday through Friday, so maybe during the weekend days off, if I left you a few things to do. And I know you want to do school and stuff, so it wouldn't be anything extravagant. It would be like, oh, run the dishwasher, oh, take the trash out, can you pick up poop? Because I do have 2 dogs, and sometimes they're a bit much to handle. So, and I don't want to get rid of them because they've been with me for a long time. But just stuff like that, weekly little chores, and I can dock off some of your rent, and you can use extra money to help your mom.
Yes.
Okay, so, I would like to take a little break and speak with you both individually. Would you be okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, Miss Jessica, could I ask you to leave the room first?
Thank you.
And if you could close the door behind you, and we'll call you in when we're
Yes,
ready
ma'am.
for you. I appreciate it. Okay, Heather, I just wanted to take a moment, just to make sure that you felt, you didn't feel compelled to have to answer those questions in that way, and that you weren't agreeing to, taking on tasks at Jessica's home without your your desire to. That, I don't want you to feel that because you are her tenant, that, you're answering the questions so that you feel you'll please her, but maybe it isn't a situation that you want. But do you seem pretty comfortable?
I feel semi-comfortable, it's just as long as I don't have to do it, like, very so often,
Okay,
like, all the time, because I understand with the whole dog situation, but they're not my dogs, they're
Yeah.
her dogs, so they should be, like, her responsibility
Okay.
instead of me.
yes,
I'm not the one that wanted the dogs,
Okay.
she wanted the dogs.
that's good. That's something that I can bring up then. And as far as, anything else that you didn't feel comfortable
Oh, no, that
discussing in front
was,
of?
yeah, no, that
Just
was
that,
it. Mhm.
yeah. So really you feel like, you can, where she had stressed, she had emphasized the point that, there was trouble with, you being clean, but you would take responsibility for
Oh,
your
yes,
messes
yes.
and everything.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you have anything else you would like to add while it's just you and I?
I don't think so. I
Mhm.
can't think of really big issues since I work these two jobs and
Yeah.
I'm kind of all over the place and my schedule is everywhere.
Yeah.
And then the whole situation now with my mom, so I'm constantly like going
Yeah.
back and forth.
It
between
sounds like you have a
places.
lot on your plate.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that we had this
Yes.
opportunity to speak to alone. If you could walk out and ask Jessica to come
Okay.
back in, and then we'll call you in when we're through.
All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you. Hi, Jessica. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, just as I explained to Heather, I wanted to give you each a little time to speak to me independently, just in case there was something that you didn't feel comfortable discussing in front of her. Did you have anything that you didn't?
No, Heather's always been, she's a pleasant person. It's just conflict with the cleaning of the kitchen
Mhm.
and then her coming in late. But I did not know she had needed to take a second job. So that kind of clears that up. And with, and with her willing to like, stop and get food before she comes home.
Yeah,
That kind of kills,
exactly.
that kind of gets rid of like worry about the kitchen.
Mhm.
And then knowing that she has to come home late, that helps.
Yeah,
Because then if I make out, I'd be like, oh, it's Heather. She's coming home from work.
yeah.
And that's okay. So
Awesome.
I'm okay with everything right now.
Okay. So you feel you want to continue?
Yeah,
Yes.
Heather's a very pleasant person. Sometimes we have, our doors are always rotating because our schedules are so different.
Yeah.
But it's just nice knowing that there's somebody else living in the house and watching over the house and making sure everything's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you feel good about where we're at, I'm going to ask Heather to come back into the meeting. Would you
Yes,
be okay
ma'am.
with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll get it. Heather, would you like to come back in? Okay, again, I want to thank you both for being so pleasant in our meeting here today, and for allowing me to have you each step out just to give me that little one-on-one time. The only thing that I again just want to emphasize that I'm happy with your demeanor and that you've respected each other during this time. Heather did share with me when you stepped out that she would certainly be willing to take care of any mess that she makes. And just as Jessica pointed out, the takeout food will be very helpful. She isn't too sure about the dogs.
Oh, to do the dogs, we can just do like other little chores. Let the
Okay.
house, I'll do the dogs.
Okay.
Or like other little chores, like maybe some vacuuming.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, because we both, just common courtesy, we both make messes when we walk in the house, maybe stuff like that. But we can leave the dogs out of it. That was just a hypothetical statement that I made.
Okay, awesome. We just wanted to clear it up before,
No.
just so you two. Okay, so we've kind of went through some of the problems that have come up, and you've both came up with some situations and resolutions to see those problems through and to continue to be tenant and roommate. Do you both agree that the problem that you had has been solved and you can start fresh?
I believe so.
I believe so.
Okay, awesome. What we will do then is we are gonna seek a commitment to carry on your relationship, and then we are gonna sign this if you both agree. And I again want to thank you and compliment both of you for the way that you handled yourself in this meeting. And Jessica, if you could sign that. Okay, so it looks as though we can close this meeting, and I wish you both the best of luck in your future living arrangements, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody say bye.
Bye.